Hey there, Facebook. Happy Sunday, April 11th, 2021, 11. And Facebook did a whole new number today when it comes to getting online through Zoom. Thank you, Facebook. And this hair, you guys, this hair is crazy. And maybe it's a humidity thing or something, but my hair is getting curly this week. So I'm pulling it back. So what's going on? I'm here, Julie. It was a Facebook thing. And I forgot. I made my juice this morning. I thought I was going to make it on here, but I did it this morning and I just went, oops. I was supposed to make it for my people. But see, I love Julie Luce. Period. Facebook threw in a new twist. But I didn't know it until 11:10, and I'm sitting there going, I didn't even get to let me just put on a little lipstick or something. So anyway, what's up? Happy Sunday. It's Sunday and tomorrow's Monday. I love Mondays because I love to meander and I love the magic that happens behind it. Because people always, just something happens. Oh yeah, it's a whole, you have to go here now and then do this, and I didn't know it, but they lead you through it, which is cool. But I did read something kind of interesting today, and now I'm going to try to find it. It has to do, well, are you here? Did you make it here? Woo-hoo. Let me see who's here, because I'm curious. Morroco, Jeff Metzger. Oh, for real? Really? Did it really happen? Do you feel like jumping on and saying hi and showing us what the winter looks like? Because we're here, because we're ready. And I would love to hear your Doc Severinsen story. And there's my alarm. I've been up. Lillian wanted to go for a stroll around 5 a.m. Sometimes, and I know she wakes up like this. And then she does a thing, and she has a ring. She has a bell right here that she rings. Bling, 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 bling. It's very cute. And she's super smart. Have you done that, Jeff? Have you taught the princess how to ring the bell? Does she have a bell to ring? Or does the door just open for her? Which I understand. So yeah, we got up. I had a feeling. I think it's going to be chilly outside because it feels like it's going to snow. So I put on the coat. Good morning, Mama Grace. Hi, everybody. It's the core. The core group is here. Has to be Rob, Patty, Jeff, Julie, Grace. That's 5 of you. Okay, so I see 5 people. Who are the other 5? Who are you? My name is Jenna Mammina. This show is called 11:11 with Jenna. It happens every day at 11:11 a.m., usually, except when Facebook does something, or 11:11 p.m. 7 days, 7 nights, 14 times a week. So I just scared one of them away. Sorry. Come back, come back, come back. Tell your friends about the show. Every day is different. Sundays, well, it's different, but we have some. I got a new apron. Do you see it? From my friend Nancy. Sunday mornings, I kind of smooth into the Sunday with a smoothie or a juice, or last week it was Easter, so I baked some really great little lemon almond torte things, and I just ordered more. Gracie, before noon, we have to have the order in, and they don't have bananas in this particular shopping experience. I think they may have carrots, but I don't need any carrots either. So, and if I needed carrots, I now know where to get them. You do? I do too. It's cute, huh? It's like a, it's big. It feels like, oh, I got better get out of my pajamas and put on, you know. Anyway, let's see. Sunday mornings, we smooth into the Sunday night musicians square table. We'll see who comes on tonight. Monday morning, I meander and the magic happens. Monday night, meditation. I sing a meditation. I speak a meditation. It's just a nice way to end your Monday evening. Tuesday morning, what happens on Tuesdays? I make a smoothie, I think. Tuesday night, Dr. Andrew Rader. Wednesday morning, we bake. This week, we haven't completely decided yet, but I think we know what we're going to do. And then Wednesday night, we haven't completely decided yet, but I think I know what we're going to do. I woke up to a very distinct knock on, you had a visitor. Kind of cool and kind of unsettling in a way. I have some ideas, Patty, and we'll talk. Thursday mornings, we chill. This Thursday, I get to use the commercial. This is what happens this Thursday. I'm going to heat up some water.
Coming this Thursday, lives will be changed forever. 11:11 with Jenna presents Morroco International Limited. Bring your best, just stay home. Live from her state-of-the-art studios, the Lily Pad, broadcasting throughout space and around the world to each and every home. 11:11 with Jenna. Jenna, Morroco International Limited, this Thursday.
Oh, it's Morroco time. Morroco. Hey, big brother. Hey, Rob.
Hey, good morning.
Do you dance?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Like, yeah, you guys dance in the kitchen?
The old goofy guy on the rock, whatever it was, like club type dance. That's it. Carol and I often thought about doing all the dancing. I
can see you guys doing that.
Yeah, not so much me. Let me just. Oh, my dog just ran in. So yeah, this is my. Does it go sideways here? Okay, or?
Sometimes it snowed in April. It snowed in Michigan April 1st, but not like this. That's
yeah, it's gonna snow again. It'll snow again today. All the trees are kind of messed up. But check this out. I was barbecuing last night. I had to abandon because it became like 60-kilometer-an-hour winds, about 40, 50-mile-an-hour winds and snow and everything. So yeah. But yeah, that's how we roll here, I guess, eh? So, but.
Were things starting to bloom?
Barely. There's some trees that start having little buds, and yeah, I'm not thinking they're going to do so good this year. So as soon as the buds freeze off, then hardly any leaves come out. So I'm hoping that's not the case. But here's my little babies. Come here, Zoe. Yeah. Oh, and I just about did it. Jeff Metzger. I was trying to find my dog. My wife goes, why did you buy so many bananas as well?
Gary Lambert.
Gary Lambert, sorry. Jeff does the fish.
What's
Uh,
up with the bananas, dude? Did you get inspired?
I don't know. Apparently there was some hidden here and then some was hidden there and then there's some other ones and I keep going to the grocery store going, oh, yeah, we need bananas, but that's not so much the case, I guess. So, but
How you can make one of those cocktails?
I know I would love to do the cocktails. So I'll just give this dog, actually when I was filming outside, she was patiently waiting for her we have these little natural treats that she has in the morning. There you go. Okay, you're good.
Is that the only treat she gets?
Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna flip this. Actually, this is one that she gets. She gets this Royal Canin treats gastrointestinal because she had an issue with her pancreas. So let me just, there we go. She had an issue with her pancreas where, the tiniest little bit of fat set it off, and they didn't think she was going to make it a few months back. So yeah, it was pretty bad. She was in there for 4 or 5 days and extreme pain under morphine for days. She was completely zonked out. But so now we feed her just, plain looking dog food, and that's low fat and no more little piece of bacon that maybe came off or a piece of cheese or stuff like that. So avoid it fully. But
Yeah.
what can you say?
Well, we love our animals. Apparently, I thought last week sometime or week before was National or International Pet Day, but apparently it's today too. So happy. Nice that for me, one friend of mine goes, it's every minute. I'm like, or every day. And I'm like, dude, it's every minute.
Yeah. And for her, it's like every second.
Hi, pretty girl.
She knows something's going on. So
she said, please, one more morsel, sir, please.
All day. She has these rubber balls with holes in them that you take these little treats, you put them inside, and then they break it out. It's like every day you're trying to do something, and all of a sudden you hear it thunk, 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 the little balls bouncing around you. She follows you. So, but such an adorable dog. So,
yeah, it's hard not to. I'm making noise here, kids. I'm pouring hot water. So, what is your Sunday today, sir?
It was doing yard work. I was trying to we still had a little bit of snow that it hadn't melted. And so, but there's a good part of the yard that was dried up. So I was going to get the thousands of twigs, because what's been happening is first I saw the magpies taking little twigs because we have some tall spruce trees. And I thought, okay, great. They're going to build nests here, which is okay, but not too cool. When the young ones I don't know if you hear them, when the young ones come out of the nest, the chattering and the noise, like the adults, stay around them. It's so noisy that you nearly need earplugs for a week or two. So they were taking all the thousands of twigs and trying to make a nest. Then the crows came in. So the crows are trying to figure out nests. So they're pulling twigs everywhere. So they're cleaning the yard a little bit. And then they disappeared because the ravens are here now looking to make nests. So each time, if you see magpies, and if there's lots of crows, then there's not magpies. But if the crows come in and then the ravens move in, then the crows are gone. Like, yeah, they move to a different area. So, and the ravens kind of just creepy. Like, I know they're a spirit bird and all this kind of stuff, but they do freak me out with their croaking, at 6 or 7 in the morning. So, but
this morning at 5:30, Lillian and I are walking. It was completely dark, and there was this crazy cloud in the sky, and there were so many birds. It was almost like being on an island. You know how like you're on an island, yep. In the morning you're going, yeah, that's kind of cute, but it's 4:30 a.m.
So you go to bed super late, and then you're up at 5ish in the morning.
Right. Yeah. I know it didn't happen. It wasn't well, but then we went for a walk and then we came back, because then I can sleep when I fall back to sleep. I think even Julie said that, like between 6 and 8 is her best sleep. Someone mentioned that, but I think it was Julie. But,
wow.
So now do you need to shovel any of that, or is it just kind of that's laugh it off snow?
It's pretty slippery, and if it's coming, it's a little bit more is coming down. So I probably will, because what happens is in our crescent someone could fall, right? If just from trying to walk around, or if they have to walk like tomorrow for buses or stuff like that. So yeah, I'll do a little bit. I have snowblowers galore coming from everywhere, but mini ones, big ones, you name it. But yeah, I'll probably do a little bit. it's like April, for God's sakes. I don't want to do any of it. I'll let the sun melt it, but it doesn't look like it's going to be that warm this next week or so. So
For the whole week.
yeah, pretty well. So this could mean, depending where the jet stream is, it could mean you might have cooler weather coming your way in another week or so, right? So
Yeah, and it's been 70.
good God.
My daffodils, all my tulips are blooming today, probably. And my
They,
hyacinth have bloomed this week. Yeah, there are daffodils everywhere. Now
yeah,
I have like 12, but they're like my neighbor has like 50 and then down the street. They're everywhere.
yeah.
They're actually gonna
No,
be gone soon.
no daffodils for sure. See, for us, uh, like I say, there's a lot of times we have May Day trees in some of the areas, and I always think it's not going to bloom in May. So we'll see like the leaves bloom probably middle of May, so another month yet before the leaves start coming out, and another depending on the weather, could even be just to the end of May. Then all of a sudden things will sprout. So that's the only downside.
And when does fall happen? Like when do the
Um,
trees do their thing?
so yeah, it's game over around early September. So in mid-August to late August, some leaves start turning yellow. And then in September, it's like by the end of September, we're usually leafless, like everything's down,
Really?
and we'll have snow. Yeah, we'll have snow many times in September. Uh, Sometimes September's warm, depends. Like we have what's called I don't know if it's Indigenous summer. It used to be called Indian summer,
Yeah,
but
don't say that
it
anymore.
yeah, so we used to have that. We just don't. But it's changed. Sometimes November is warm, much warmer. It's all over the place. Sometimes October is freezing bad. I used to drive a lot of. I used to race cars as well. So and I'm a huge car enthusiast. That's about cars, music. What's that song? I think Chicks and Cars in the Third World War or whatever it was. That's I kind of
What
fit those
what kind
things.
of car? What did you race?
Mostly Porsches. So,
Really?
yep, on a PAX track at fairly high speed. So I was doing, equivalent to 150 to 190 miles an hour, in that range. And I did. And then a few years back, I said, because I'm in a Crescent. I wanted to move to get a much larger garage, but my daughter and wife fought me forever, or didn't really fight, just cried. That was the best weapon, right? Just cried. And my daughter was like, this is, it'll never be home and all this stuff. Because she was born, this house, I've been here for 30 years, just about. So,
Yeah, you can't leave that.
and I built it I think I turned 30. So, since then, you want, so anyway, with the Crescent and a big backyard, small front, we can't add more cars. So she has a car. My daughter is here all the time. She just goes out at night to her boyfriend's for 3 or 4 hours, 5 hours, and she's right back here. So my daughter, my wife, my car, and then I have a work vehicle. So I sold one that I had, which I loved, and I wish I never did. But so
What was
now
it?
what's that?
What was it?
I was a 911 Turbo, so and it was designed to go just track. So every Sunday we have a racetrack not far from here, and I just loved it and loved it. And before that, it was the same thing. I went, goes back decades to other vehicles, but
I
it's,
spent a couple of years watching. I had a boyfriend that was a 911. He had like four
yeah.
and used to.
Oh,
It's his Saturday,
it,
Sunday. It was his. It's his thing. He's the president now of this club and
okay.
Porsche Racing Club. So, and it's about an hour 45 from where I lived in Oakland.
Yeah, it's just I don't know what it was. It was just like I was always into sports and stuff, so it just loved doing it.
Cool sport.
And yeah, and even Daytona.
You gotta like really, you gotta.
Yeah,
It's scary to watch because, like Patty just said, the taster, Merv is also a Porsche race car driver.
yeah. I've like spun out at incredibly high speeds. Like you're going around the corner thinking everything's perfect, and so yeah, your life flashes before your eyes. But same thing. I was in. They have these Daytona, where you like in Florida where you can go and live the experience of stock car racing and yeah. And so I've been in a few of those. I've been in some other sessions which weren't quite the same thing and just it's a thrill. Like I just since I was a little kid, we have a it was a renowned track called Speedway. So they had what's called Can-Am series in '69 and the early '70s, and that's how I got addicted to Porsche versus Italian cars. Like a lot of my relatives have Italian, but they're as temperamental as the people. So that's why with the 911s, they're fairly indestructible if you know have a good one. I mean, they're a little bit crazy price now, but it's still
You own one now?
no. But I've been looking every day. I have friends who own dealerships, and they're like, "What's wrong with you? You're getting old. Like, why did you stop?" I
What's
didn't have
wrong
the
with you?
room.
You're getting old. Go get another race car.
Yeah. Well, this is the problem. So in September, about middle of September, because you can't drive them here when the roads are, you know, when it turns winter, right? For us is impossible. And so by September-ish, you're storing it for the summer or for the winter, sorry. And then so it sits there. And then when you take it out, well, you take it out in maybe May, you know, and we have tons of gravel on the road still. Like but it's so cold here, you can't just put salt. You have to put gravel because salt doesn't work when it gets minus 30 or colder. It's useless. So they put tons of rocks and chips, and so yeah, and colder. It gets to minus 50, right? So
Yeah, we saw
there's
that. That's when the Morocco can happen.
yep, there's at least 4 inches, you know, toward the sides of the road now of just rocks and gravel. So the city spends, you know, 2 months just sweeping all those rocks and stuff. So you can drive, even motorcycle guys have to be super careful until the roads are swept clean. And then you put it in the garage and you figure out where you park all your other vehicles, right? So that's why I needed, I've told the neighbors, sell your house so I can buy it just so I can get your garage, right? But yeah,
Now,
we'll
does
see.
Carol, when you and Carol are driving in the car, does she ask you to slow down?
You know what? In that one, she's been on what we call, now we don't do it because it'd be dumb and unethical. But we used to do not cannonball like runs. I had
Rally.
another, yeah. I had back about 20 some on years ago, and it was a dumb mistake. I had an air cooled Porsche, which is they up until about 1998, 97, they had no water, no radiator, so they used oil to cool it. So they were the type that would make a totally different noise. They're incredible. I just loved it. And I sold it for what I paid for it, and now it would have been worth 4 or 5 times that.
I'm sure.
So in the hundreds and hundreds, like it's just because it's so collectible. But we went on ones where, you know, we have like 6 or 7 guys. You go on remote highways, one guy at the front with a radio, okay, we're clear, everybody, you know, and we just be like this 100 or 60, 70 mile trip of just stupidness, right? And then if, you know, we stop because if you hit a deer right at that speed, it's like, forget it. You know, you blink and it's over, right? So, but so that was actually a club. So we don't do that anymore. We just go for breakfast runs, which what's called. But in that car, she's pretty good. Um, you know, and it was brutal. I and you know had just bought this one, and it's like I say, I'm not a guy who's gonna have like 10 cars. That's not me, and you know, I don't. I look like the guy. I mean, look at my shirt. Is there? I always look like the guy who stole the vehicles that I drive, right? So anyway, we had bought it in Vancouver. I just bought this twin turbo. You know, it was probably about when was it? Probably about 2010 in Vancouver. Vancouver's like beautiful San Francisco, and I
Yeah.
thought, oh, it's just incredible. Especially the Gulf Islands are all the hippies. Well, I know you said you were hippie once, but they're the off the grid people, and you know they have
Yeah.
vegetable stands everywhere and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, so we bought it in Vancouver because much better selection. It's year round, no snow, and you know I get in. I'm a proud guy trying to even figure out where all the buttons. You know, what's this do? What's that do? Why is this turbo boost here and this all those kind of stuff? So I'm going down a highway that's about 70-mile-an-hour highway. It's called the Coquihalla. It's a fast connection toward Alberta, where I'm at. It's still a 12-hour drive, but we were going to enjoy this drive, stop in the mountains, Banff and Jasper, you know, on the way. And I remember trying to look at the radio, and Carol was sleeping. Her head was kind of nodding down because she had flown to meet me in Vancouver when I actually got the car and was driving back with me just as a little bit of a break. And her head was passed down 3 hours into this trip. I'm trying to change this thing on the highway, being careful, and all of a sudden I look, and it's a bear on the middle of the road. And it was brutally, I was really like I was probably doing about 140, which would be about 120, 100, maybe 90 miles an hour, on this highway, just middle nowhere. It's in the mountains. Someone had hit this this bear. Is a pretty good sized bear, and he was still alive. His head was up a little bit, and it was just horrifying because those things like that aren't good for me. And I screamed, and Carol like lurched out of her sleep, and I couldn't even. I knew I was going fast enough that I couldn't even begin. There's traffic to even steer left or right, and I hit this thing.
You hit it
Dead on, hours after I purchased this car. Can you believe it? So I when I hit it, I was like, I felt bad for the bear, but I was like, and they're aluminum, right? They're not even steel, these cars. And I was like, oh my God, it says, I cannot believe. And I hit it hard enough that it launched us in the air a little bit. And I said, that's it. It says, this car is totaled. I says, I've owned it for 2 hours and it's totaled. And I finally got to a spot where I could pull over because I could still drive it. And so on these cars, like especially the kind that I get for racing, they're sealed on the bottom. It's just flat. Looks like a sled so that the air doesn't get disturbed. And when I pulled over, I went to the front and I said, there's going to be nothing left, Carol. And there's a little spoiler that broke, little carbon fiber thing. It actually snapped and came down, but there was nothing else. It wasn't even a scratch, zero. My car went over like a snowmobile over a pile of snow. And so I actually, one of the
you
couple
hit
people.
it and flew over the bear.
Yeah, the bear launched underneath and lifted the front. It wasn't like the Dukes of Hazzard thing, but yeah, we went flying. but yeah, Carol fully blown out of sleep, and to hear me screaming because I said, no, this is it. And
did you think? I'm going to go back. You said this is it, like this is it for the car, or this is it for us.
It could have been for us, depending on how. Like I was just worried that this thing, because if I came off it, at that speed, even though I could handle and I've done so much racing, but I knew at that point if I had swerved, it would have probably been over for us. So I had no choice but to just brace and get ready. But just the way it was, like the luck of the world. Not so much the bear was not going to make it because he was hit earlier. I don't know how much earlier, but he was like heaped on the ground. And so anyway, so when I got it I got into a town called Kelowna, and I went and took a look. I actually had to go to a car wash and wash all the front off. It was just perfect.
That's incredible.
Yeah, nothing. It wasn't even the chin. Well, I mean the chin thing, little tiny little air strap. What it does is this little spoiler deflects the air, to the sides and stuff. So I had to get that replaced, but I took it to the Porsche dealer here, and I told him what happened because I had to get it certified. Even though I bought it in Vancouver, you bring it to another. It's like going across state lines. They still want you to do before you can register it in the province. They want to take a look at it, and I told him about what happened, and he said we would have called the police. He says because underneath there, all the different crap, for the poor little bear. He says we would have thought you hit somebody on a hit and run, kind of thing. But anyway, so yeah, that was. But
I want to hear Carol's side of the story sometime.
Oh yeah, you'd ask her one time out of the blue, and she'd just shake her head. But now she's always like, because at the same time, like if I'm on a track and if I'm racing, I put my life in jeopardy. Hey, that's one thing. But I'll never go fast with people. I'll never take stupid things on the highway. Just no, it's someone else's family, right? Or the people that are with me. But yeah, no, she's. Her and my daughter are always kind of like, I had another one, and Carol was in Washington, and I'll keep this so you guys aren't so late staying on the show so long. She was in Washington doing museum stuff and things for painting, Washington D.C. And I had my daughter was small enough to fit in the back of these things, which are useless seats at the best, and she was 4 or 5, and I had driven. And a police guy stopped me over because I had this what's called a 993. It was kind of a special type, and it's just beautiful sounding. So he actually pulled me over with the lights, and I was like, "What the hell did I do? I'm being so careful." And he came over and he says, "Man," he says, "I just wanted to talk to you about this car and stuff." And he was talking and everything. And so anyway, I was like, "Okay, cool." And I thought it was a little annoying, but I got home later, and then Carol called to see how things were going, and Steph, who was 5 at the time or 4, was like, "Oh, Mama, yeah." And the police caught Daddy in his car. They'd stopped him and this and that.
Great.
I was telling he just wanted
Thanks,
to talk
Steph.
about the car.
Right.
Carol was just like, you know, just mad at me for a weekend because that weekend I bought her chocolate. I bought her chocolate cereal. I bought her every. Carol was so strict with being perfect, and I was like, okay, she's gone for a week here. Let's go, And so we got everything under the sun that she could try. So, and she was
And then
telling
the
her that on
police
the phone.
pulled us over. That's funny. Well, so then you could relate to that. So Grace and I are watching Lilyhammer.
Yes,
So you could relate to when those guys hit. Was it an elk?
the moose.
Moose?
I think it was a moose on the bridge, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such an odd show. I first watched it. Carol was like, "Is this another?" Because
So
she didn't like The Sopranos so much, the violence.
didn't?
No, where I love
I
the
don't like
little,
the violence either.
yeah,
No,
I
go.
like
You gotta go like
yeah,
that.
just the little Italian sayings, like when Paulie's trying to get a coffee and the guy's like, "Half cap, this, that," and he's like, "A coffee, son of a bitch," kind of thing.
You get a coffee. You want coffee, you get coffee. You don't get
Yeah.
like half do that thing. Yeah.
But yeah, Lilyhammer's I loved it, and then they don't continue it, right? That's
They did it?
the
Well, I don't
downside.
know. Don't tell me.
No, meaning they had a few seasons, but like you want it to be like The Sopranos, where it goes on 8, 9, 10, seasons. So
Like Schitt's Creek should have gone on easily another. I could have watched another season of that because I would have liked to see where everybody what they did.
that's funny. It's like the Seinfeld too. He's a numerologist, and he said 9 was a special number, so he decided that we're going to end it at 9. End the story. And they offered him, like, I think it was he was getting $1 million. He was going to get double that, or $1.5 million.
Well, like today adds up to 11. Today's date adds up to 11.
There you go. Yeah. So he was like that, and he said nope. But it doesn't matter because yesterday.
No, I can only do 11 seasons. Oh, $1.5 million a show. Okay, then I would give it to my friends. So let's talk for 1 minute about the cartoon animated commercial for 11:11 with Jenna.
Yes.
So cool.
Isn't it? Someone's going to like probably an impression of themselves in that too. I won't say who, but in the one of the scenes, I was going to say
right.
one of the people in the new cartoon. Are you talking to the old one? The new one, right?
Well, the commercial that people have seen.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So fun.
It's funny, like the guys that manage the program that I purchased are from Japan, and they're from all over the place. So I will go to them with a question, and on the internet, because they don't really have the greatest help thing. It's just like, well, I want to make this go here, and how do I render a little dog, this, that. And then they come back, okay, well, you have allows their thing, and can they send a help that's attached to it? They go, okay, here, as you play it back, it'll say, "Hi, Rob. Okay, so in this scene here, you have this happening here. Do this instead," and then they'll circle, and it's voice animated. So talk about support, right? So they're excited. So I told them, I said, I have to mass market this a little bit more. So they're saying, yes, make sure for certain lengths are met, like the 40 seconds or whatever it is for Instagram. Because if it's over a certain one, it gets rejected. And then, so they're going to look at some other ideas for me. And I said, yeah, the Japanese are enthralled with American, goddess singers type thing, right? So, I said, yes, she's a goddess and she's a singer. She sang, for yourself, right?
Oh, maybe that would be
so
I think commercial, but maybe we need
to share it on different platforms.
Maybe I need to do one scene with me, like a quick scene where I'm going from the stage to the show. That's what I there's, so I can do these
regular ones. I'm going to try to get the platforms there where, you know, that it, even though it's like English, Japanese and stuff like that, but many know English, right? That he says, you know, you can just kind of like photo bombing your show right from there, like if they can get enough people. So yeah, I'm working with them to come up with ideas. They think it's cool, you know, that they're helping you with this journey kind of thing for you, right? And so it's
So
interesting.
much. But I just had a thought, so I'll message you some thought. And I also have another thought about, we'll talk about it. But you guys, this is the man that's making these commercials. This is who used the 11:11 with Jenna. This. Where is it? I'm just gonna hold it up really fast because it's so cool. If you haven't seen it yet. This. It's on my page. It's on Rob's page. Go like and share. I even ride a Vespa and a rocket. My sister called me. She goes, "You're on a Vespa and then you're in a rocket." I'm like, I know. It's so cool.
So, and he was saying, like, he says, don't overcomplicate it. Like, don't put too much complexity into the scene. He says, drop things and stuff like that. So I did that on the next one. He says, because he says it's surprising, you know, when you just stick to the basics. He said, because many companies will use that for advertising, and some will even make little commercials. So as you go up the versions, I'm on the, you know, semi-pro, and then there's a pro, which becomes a pretty pricey monthly subscription. But you know, I'm getting all the workings and you know, working the chops. I can, you know, I'm going to use it for other stuff too. My, you know, if I'm going to be selling something on Kijiji or whatever, they're going to get a commercial. They're not going to get like a little worded ad. So there's a lot of other things with it that I can do, or and such. And you can do live versions as well. But he says simple cartoons seem to catch imagination quickly. People will actually, he says, watch it. And so not just because he's selling his product, but he says that's why he designed it that way, specifically to capture it.
It's very cool. Well, standing ovation.
No.
Isn't that funny? Like, now that I have this animated commercial, I feel like I've arrived. I'm like,
the commercial, yeah.
You know, it's
as we work.
I'm
we'll
done. If it ended here tomorrow, I'd be like, yeah, and I had this animated commercial. So, but it's not going to end because I'm not going. People ask me, once the pandemic is over, I'm like, well, clearly it's not over anytime soon. So I'm just, I wasn't doing it as I did it as a pandemic thing because I did it as something to do, but I enjoy it so much and I love connecting with everybody here that it's just going to evolve. And
yeah. See, yeah, and I have a really good idea. I think that's a good idea about it, that could lend itself to something a bit different, tie it into your show. But I don't know if I should say it here or not. But I think it'll supposedly do well. That's why I'm working it so hard. Like in the beginning, it would take me 2 hours just to kind of get some kind of movement, but now it's going so fast. So, but yeah, so it'll be. Yeah, I won't say it on here in case it's an idea that you may not like, and then everybody's heard it and stuff like that. So,
oh, Rob,
that's it. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Have you had your stoked oats today?
No, because I work 2 hours behind you. I don't even know what time it is now. It is. It's only 9:51. But yeah, just getting this dog has a routine. It's OCD like, right? Go to there, get her regular dog food. Then she looks at it, makes me go get a treat. Then she makes me I have a little kind of I don't know what it's called, but it's a little treat that has some kind of oil in it that helps joints and stuff for little dogs and stuff like that. So I get her that. And then when she's done that, she's at the door and I let her out. And then she comes in, she expects another treat like she got. And so all this OCD stuff, right? That I follow this agenda. Yeah, so I don't know if I'm OCD because of it or she's OCD, but one of us is leading the charge here. So
we just love our animals.
Oh, I do.
I get up with Lily and we went to sleep at 3:00 and we got up at 5:30 or something. Whenever it was still dark and the birds were chirping and I didn't even want to look at my phone. I just looked at her and I went, really? And she was like, She really had to go. But then she doesn't go right away. Sometimes she's like, okay, mom, let's go. But I watched this beautiful cloud in the sky and then the birds. And I went, I understand why people get up at this
Yeah.
time of day. I also understand why for many years I liked to stay up till that time of the day. You know, I'd
Yeah.
do a gig and then I'd be up and then it would be, or I'd be in New Orleans and you know, the show ends. The show would be over at 5:30 in the morning, 5:45.
Good Lord. See, yeah, I'm a night person, but I'm struggling to not sleep. I can't sleep in because just work, right?
Oh, I can't either. But when I'm in at Jazz Fest, but it's the joke is when people that know me and they know I go to Jazz Fest, they know how I am at Jazz Fest and they go, welcome to Jenna's Jazz Fest. But now that I perform there, most nights that I'm there, I perform in the last 5-7 years, it was 9 nights of performance. So I couldn't do that. And the first year where I'd stay with my friends, I'd be home by 1 o'clock and they're like 12:30 and they're like, aren't you going out? And I go, no, I have another gig for the next 7 nights in a row. I can't do the original Jenna Jazz Fest thing,
Oh,
but that's okay.
yep.
We
Yep.
all change. But there have been times where I'm really glad that I was there because Stevie Wonder just shows up or
Wow.
you know, Tom
Yeah.
Jones. I saw Tom Jones in a room this big.
Jeez.
Yeah.
From Wales. We have a big plant in Wales, and a lot of the guys there know him and his family from before. And so, yeah, in Cambron. But they all talk like I tell everybody, you guys all talk like Tom Jones. Like you just sound like Tom
Sound
Jones.
just like Tom Jones. That's so
Yeah.
cool. Well, thank you again, Rob.
You
And
guys.
you're welcome here absolutely anytime
Yep.
because you are part of the show. You are making it happen. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem. It's always good to
Carol.
support the team. Yeah, Carol for sure is pretty cool. So
She's really cool. And Steph's the one that's getting this. She's turning me on to different stuff. But yeah, I got to do the Twitch thing and the TikTok thing. And
yeah, it's if I think they don't want people just to upload videos, make it like a YouTube. They want you to produce it. So I told her, I says, well, I'm gonna take some of the promos, commercials, and just go, hey everybody, check this out, and put it in front of the screen. And so, and she goes, yeah, you can get away with that. And I said, okay. But they also watch, like they can manipulate, move videos to the top, and not just from usages, but get them better plays through their algorithms based on what they think they like, right? The founders of the group there. So
well, maybe we could talk later today or whenever this week I'm around.
yeah, and same. I'm working out of the home still for the next little while. So
Wow, Julie, Tom Jones kissed her hand.
good Lord.
Elvis Costello kissed mine. Tom Jones kissed Julie's. We're all good.
As long as Julie didn't throw anything on the stage like all those women were back in
Remind
the.
me to tell you my Willie Nelson story later.
Holy cow, thing's still there.
Yeah. Can you believe it? It's going to be 3 weeks on Tuesday. All right, kids, I got to order my food before noon, so I got to roll.
Take care, everyone. Have a nice
Thank
day.
you, Rob. Thank you. Have a
Bye.
great day. Stay warm.
I shall, for sure.
Cold. Just looking at that. Okay, kids, I have to go order mine and make sure that I don't order too many bananas or too many carrots. Maybe more peanut butter. They don't have peanut butter, though. They have almond butter. What about almond butter? Okay. Huge hug. I have 3 minutes. Huge hug. Thanks, Mom Grace. Thanks, Julie. Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Patty. Thank you for your laughing. And Jay Smith, I think you're going to be here tonight. And if you want to invite any other musician on, that would be cool. I've invited a couple. We'll see if they show up. Who comes, comes. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Wild thoughts. I had a wild dream last night. I dreamed I got in a car accident, but my car did this spin and then I just spun and went, ooh, parked the car like a James Bond kind of thing or somebody, I don't know who. It wasn't an accident. It was a way of the car moving, but it was wild. It wasn't like hitting a bear or anything. Okay. witty words, and a wondrous heart. Thanks, you guys. Thank you, Mama Grace. I'll see you in a little bit. Everybody else, thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a beautiful morning and stay safe, stay healthy, be nice, love hard. Really